what's going on, everybody? It's Jared Glant. This is another episode of Young Hustlers. One of my favorite times of year, the beginning of the year, because you get to start on a clean slate. Everything that happened last year happened. So whether that's good or bad, it's in the past. Now we get the opportunity to lean in and make something great happen for the new year. So I'm so glad to be here. Thursdays, noon East Coast Standard Time, the way we always do it. This year is going to be a remarkable year. So excited about what we're going to be doing on the show here, and we're going to have more information on that over the next few weeks. The good news is you will be seeing lots of Young Hustler coming up this year. And I really wanted to take the opportunity now at the beginning of the year to focus you on the things that you need to do in order to maximize 2022. I've been with Grant for 11 years now. I've had 11 new years. I've had 11 new starts. I've had 11 opportunities to continue to build on what I had previously built the year before. And I've got some things that I do at the beginning of the year. I learned these from Grant, seeing him at how he does what he does. And I've just kind of put my own little spin on it. And so I just want to share those things with you guys today, because I think that 1 year can change everything. 1 year of the right disciplines, of the right habits, the right mindset, the right think. 1 year can change your life. And I think that I have 100% confidence that no matter what your circumstances, that this is true for you. So wherever you're at, everything can change this year for you. Now, will it be 0 to 5 million? Could be. Happened for Grant in 90 days. But more than likely what this year is going to be is it's going to be an opportunity for you to really fortify the foundation that you have so that you can go out and continue to build on this. Because every year should be getting better for you. Like as a business owner, as a professional, as a person, like every year should get better. Your life should improve. The people around you should improve. You should get more focused on the things that you want in your life, the things that make you happy. Like every year should be getting better. And if it's not, you're learning things that you don't want and you don't want out of your life and you don't want to have around you. And that improves your life because you can avoid those things if you have the discipline to do it. Particularly with business, if you're selling more customers every year, that means you have a bigger base to start with the next year. That means you have more money, hopefully, to carry into the following year. So everything should be improving for you. And if it's not, it's okay. You just need to focus on a few things this year. So whether you are in a position where you're like, man, last year sucked for me, you could blame it on COVID. But despite COVID, we had a record year. During COVID, when everybody was losing their minds in 2020, we had a record year because we stay focused on the right things. You stay focused on the things you can control. And one of the biggest problems right now is that people have a lot of attention on something they have zero control over. I'm going to talk about things to focus on this year, but I'll just tell you one thing you need to not focus on this year is TV, news, and media. Media is literally the enemy. Regardless of what you believe, left side or right side, when I find myself watching news, and I'll say that I do watch financial news. CNBC, I watch it every day. In the morning, it helps me understand financially what's going on. I learned a bunch of big new words that I didn't know anything about and watch a bunch of rich, smart people talk. So, and particularly the fact that on that program, that network, they tend to stay out of theatrics that like the CNNs and the Fox Newses and the MSNBCs all play in. But you want to keep it to a minimum if at all possible because everybody has an agenda. And I want you to look around the people around you this year too and figure out who has their agenda and if that supports you or not. And we'll talk about that in a minute here. So one thing not to focus on this year is the media. But I'm going to give you 5 things that you should focus on right now. And in fact, you should double down on if you want to have a record year. Or, man, you just want to turn things around. You want to feel different. You want to look different. And you want your situation to improve. Number 1, this always should be the start of every conversation that you have about wanting to improve, is you have to have goals. This is a little difficult to see here. Let me see if I can get you a different pen here. Yeah, this is going to be better. Goals. Beginning of the year is always a popular time for people to talk about goals, but man, I don't think a lot of people know. Man, I'm like, this shirt is just like, it's screaming a little bit like these buttons are upset right now. So like, look, I think one of the big issues with goals is that, people don't know how to set them. They don't actually understand goals, and there's bad information about goals. One of the most prolific concepts around goal setting, and I may be an idiot for saying this, the SMART goals, smart, measurable, attainable, attainable goals. That's not a good goal. And so I think there's this big misconception, and I don't want to go super deep on this because I could talk about it for a day, but there is a difference between a goal and a target. And too many people set targets thinking that they're goals. Let me explain. So you say you made 80 grand last year, and you're like, man, my goal this year is to make $90,000. On the surface, you're like, hey, look, you want to make an extra 10 grand this year, or you want to get into the gym more regularly this year. Like, I want to work out 3 times a week, right? Like, those are targets. Those are targets to be set. Goals are something that cannot be achieved in the short term. Targets are something that you plan to achieve in the short term. The problem with labeling a target a goal is that you end up thinking too small. Goals should be big and exciting. Goals should be the thing, like targets, I'm sorry, but like if you made 80 grand last year and your goal is to make 90 grand this year, that's only $10,000. It's not going to change your life. You may think it does. You may think it's going to provide you with this opportunity to do X, Y, and Z or whatever, buy some NFTs or Bitcoin or whatever. But I'm telling you, it's not going to change your life. And if it's not going to change your life, then what that means, it's going to be really easy for you to give up on. And so when you start thinking about goals, you have to think further beyond just what you're doing right now. The way that, I'll just say the right way to set goals, and this is the way that I do it, and I don't know if that's why I'm saying it's the right thing or not, or just because it's worked for me so far, is when I look at goals, I look into the future. The stuff that I'm writing down when I'm writing down my goals, and Grant says this, like most of the goals that we set, we never hit. Now, I don't go that far. That's like this guy, every time, if he's getting close to a goal, he's like, oh, got to stretch it out. Like I think he intentionally wants to not hit goals because he wants to know going that I've got goals that are so big that I don't know if I'll ever hit them. For me, I like to go out 10 years, 10, 15 years and just think like 10, 15 years from now, where do I want to be? Like what do I want my life to look like? Because the clarity of where you want to be 10 years or 15 years from now is going to be bigger than where you're at today. It's going to be more exciting than where you're at today. And it's going to be something that you will actually make decisions today that are uncomfortable or painful to do. The $10,000 a year, like what if I told you that to make an extra $10,000 a year, you had to come in an hour and a half early every day to work. Forget about what you do or how you get paid, but let's just say you had to work an extra hour and a half a day. At some point, you're going to be like, this shit ain't worth it for 10 grand. Like I'm coming in early, I'm tired. Like it ain't worth it for 10 grand, and you're going to bail on your target of an additional $10,000 in income. Now, if you said I want to go from 80 grand to 800 grand a year. And in 10 years from now, I want to be making 800 grand a year. And you worked your way back. And you got down to the point where you were like, hell, all I got to do is work an extra hour and a half a day, and I can make $800,000. Now that morning you wake up and you're like, man, I really don't feel like doing this today. You're not doing it for 10 grand anymore. You're doing it for 800,000. You see what I'm saying? So you have to get focused on the right things, and I think you need to bucket this in a completely different way than most people do it. Targets. What do you want to get done this year? Me, I want to make $1 million more than I made last year. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to have 2 date nights a week with my wife. I want to totally be present, intentional, adventurous, and fun with my kids. Like, these are things that I'm writing. Like, I can accomplish that this year. The goals should be the things that like, hey, I want to make $1 million a month in passive income. Like the goals should be the big stretch things. I can't accomplish that this year. There's no way for me to do it. But it's exciting enough for me to make decisions today that make me uncomfortable, that require me to sacrifice because I know that the payoff's big enough. So when you're sitting down, look at the goals that you wrote down. Hopefully you did. Targets. This is what are you going to do in the next 12 months? Draw a line down the page and then write your goals. These are things you want to accomplish in the next 10 to 15 years. Make sense? Cool. Okay, number 2. Skills. Man, if you want to get closer to your goals faster, you got to develop skills. And this doesn't always mean you have to develop a new skill. If I was a professional golfer, or I wanted to be one, I was an aspiring golfer, I don't need to learn a new skill in order to do that. I need to improve the skills that I have. So how do you do that? In practice, in work. Our sales team role plays every morning for 30 minutes before they get on the phone. Are they learning something new? Nope. But they're refining a skill. Johnny and Nathan, these guys are on cameras. These guys are shooting. They're editing. Like if they want to increase their income, if they want to increase their value, they don't go learn, woodworking. They don't learn a new skill. They learn how to improve the skills that they have. They're consuming more information so they can develop further the skills that they have. And a lot of times when people look at developing skill sets, they go out and they automatically will go try to do something new. And I'm not saying there's never a time to do that, because there certainly is. But you need to understand and recognize when you need a new skill and when you need to improve an existing skill. Because one of the problems that you can run into is if you try to develop too many skills and you don't get great at a handful of them, then you're gonna be average at it a lot. And there's no money in average. Give me a video guy that's a 10 out of 10 on shooting and a 2 out of 10 on editing, and I'll hire him every day of the week. Give me a guy that's a 4 out of 10 shooting and a 4 out of 10 editing, I want nothing to do with him. Does that make sense? Because he's developed one skill that's amazing and remarkable. Now, there will be times where you have to develop new skills. Like if you're an employee somewhere and you become an entrepreneur, you got to develop new skills. You have to learn things that you didn't have to do before. Like if I went out and started my own business right now, I'd have to learn, how do I get traffic? What are my offers going to be? How am I going to price them? How am I going to collect the money? I need to hire people. How do I go out and hire people? What am I required legally to do when I hire people? And then how do I pay people? And then how do I pay taxes? Like there's all these new things that you have to learn in order to be successful in this new thing that you're doing. So you will need more skills if you want to be more successful. Okay? But don't jump to a new skill before you look at the existing skill set that you have and ask, what can I do to improve what I'm currently doing right now? So you need to be aware of skills in the coming year. So number 1 is you need to get goal-focused, extremely goal-focused. You have to know the difference between a goal and a target, which we covered. And then number 2 is you got to look at your skill set. Do you need new skills? Are you in a position where you need new skills? Or do you need to improve existing skills? A designer, for example, like a good new skill set, and I really don't know the technicalities behind this, but I'm just going to say it because I think it's exciting right now, is if you're a designer right now, maybe you need to figure this NFT thing out. I think you're just doing an image no matter what, but maybe there's a way to do the image that you need to learn. And so that is the new skill set that you need to learn, and it's tied into what you do so that you can increase your value. Okay, number 3. Things you need to focus on in 2022. People. People are the great connector. This is probably a big area for me is people. I'm one of those people that try to take on and do a lot myself. It's really hard for me to delegate things out because I don't trust people. They're going to do it, and maybe I don't know, I got a whole bunch of problems that I could talk about all day here, but this is a big opportunity for me is just people within the company. Like, how do you continue to develop people, support people, inspire people? How do you control the people around you outside of your professional environment? Like, you need to look at the people around you, particularly after you spend some time setting goals and setting targets. Because the worst thing you could do is get all excited about new goals, new targets, start investing in skills, and then have people around you that are going to knock you down. People that aren't going to be supportive of you. People that will subconsciously be a brake for you. Like, they'll be riding the brake when you're trying to accelerate. So you want to stay away from people that have small think. You know, like, people that are satisfied will never understand why you're working so hard. People that are satisfied with where they're at, they don't have big ambitions, they're not trying to do something bigger, they will never understand why you want to come in an hour and a half early every day of the week and even come in on Saturdays. It's impossible because they see things through their lens. And so, you know, I would limit your time around these people. And some of these people will be family, just being very frank. And so you need to just think about, don't eliminate family. I'm not saying that. But you just need to think about how much time you're spending and what you choose to listen to. Because you cannot afford, if you want to do something major, to have people around you that are chirping. I remember this. Like, I remember being a maniac when I first started working for Grant. And the hours I was working, making cold calls, like 24/7, all in. Like, I mean, like, nobody around me possibly could have understood what I was trying to do. And so I ended up having very few people that I interacted with. And, you know, and the thing is that when people that are close to you that you actually care for, when they say things that may not be a direct jab, but kind of those like subtle, you know, those like, they're like a little bit undercutting and you're like, oh, that kind of didn't feel good. Like, that wears on you, and not just because it hurts, but it's because it's somebody that you care about. And so it's best to just stay away from those people for a while you get your shit together, even if they're family. You definitely want to stay away from negative people because if you're an optimist, you have to be. If you have big goals, you have to be optimistic. Like, there's no way. Like, pessimistic people are really hard to do big things because they think with all the problems and reasons why it won't work and why it can't work rather than outside of the thing they see in front of them. So, you know, like you just have to stay away from them because they'll start projecting themselves on you. If people aren't aligned with the things you need to do to accomplish the things you want, you've got to get rid of them. You know, when you have people that you're around that you do bad things when you're around, like you go around one group of friends and you always end up smoking weed, and then when you're done smoking weed, you're like, man, now I'm sitting here, I can't be productive, I probably shouldn't have done that. And then you're thinking about it. You know, if you go out with a guy or a girl and you hook up with them and you feel bad about it, like because of whatever reason, like you probably shouldn't do that. Like if you go out and you hang out with somebody and then you come back and you're like, man, I'm really just kind of using this person, like, and you know inside you don't feel good about it, like you're literally spending emotional energy on something that is a draining activity for you. And it will hurt your production and your performance. So you got to knock that stuff off. Like, if you want to make a move, these things are required to happen. Like, you can't avoid it. And, you know, that's why you have to make decisions. Like, you've got to make decisions on what you want. Because doing things like giving up recreation, video games, bars, drugs, guys, girls, whatever you're into, it will be a little bit painful. And so you have to know that you're going for something bigger. You know, a lot of people come into our ecosystem in 10X and then they leave quickly because they're like, I can't get on board with all that. We think so big. The only way to think that big is to do things be a little bit wild and crazy about doing things. And that doesn't work for everybody because they're not on the same mission. So get rid of people fast. Like, and not forever, but just off your immediate line so that you're not getting jabbed and slowed down by people that are not on the same page as you. People are going to be a big one for you this year. Something else that you need to keep your eyes out for, something that you need to focus on in 2022, you need to be looking for opportunity. Okay? Like, you have to have your eyes open. You have to be looking. Like, the people that end up hitting the ball out of the stadium, the ball players, like, they have their eye on the ball the whole time. Like, they don't close their eyes and swing. So if you want to do something big, you got to have your eye out for opportunity. And, you know, I would tell you that like, you need to look at things that, if something promises big returns in a short period of time, you have to, like, immediately, if it sounds easy, if it looks easy, like, that's what is concerning about this NFT thing. And I've talked to some people that are massively connected in the crypto space. And while the NFT is a vehicle, they believe will be something that remains and perpetuates and gets big, the way that it exists right now, there is a lot of doubts about the long-term viability of that. So if you're looking for a quick cash grab, then maybe it's something that you are playing with. But, like, I would just be very hesitant to spend a lot of time and energy on something that you know will not be around a year or 2 years or 3 years from now. Because what's going to happen is you're going to waste your most precious asset, which is time. For what? For some money? Like you're going to spend the next 3 years messing around with NFTs, and you're going to make a little cash here, a little cash there. You're going to make $100,000 here. You're going to make $50,000 there. Like, that's not going to change your life. But what's going to happen is 3 years later, you're going to look back and you're going to go, damn, I could have spent those 3 years learning something that actually has the ability to live on beyond this. So you have to look for opportunity, and I believe that there is a balance, because I find a lot of people that run after too many opportunities, and Grant always says, he says, if you try to do everything, you'll end up doing nothing, and so you have to be really focused. And I would say, I would look at everything through this lens. I have my own lens for the business. For the business lens, I look at, is it going to be worth $50 million to us over the next 3 years? If it's not, then we should pass on it. Because I understand the time and energy that gets occupied by chasing opportunities. And you have to come to the realization that an opportunity requires time and energy to pursue and develop and evolve and become something. And if you focus on things that will not ultimately get you closer to where you want to be or where you want to go, then it's going to be a waste of time. Time that you could have spent looking for the right opportunity. So I would focus on, hey, what are 2 or 3 big opportunities that you could sink your teeth into this year? I could make a case that it could be 1, but, don't go from 50 opportunities or 20 opportunities or even 5 opportunities. Just say, outside of my main thing, I'm going to be looking for 3 big opportunities that I can play with. Because you have to reach out. You have to constantly be going out to bring in new things. We're getting ready to do something major with NFTs. Why? Not because it's a cash grab right now where we can make a couple $1 million, but because it could be something that could literally change an entire industry. That's the stuff that we're focusing on, because we have to economize our time and go after the opportunities that are going to be the big game changers. So I think there's a difference, though, in looking at too many opportunities and quote unquote biting off more than you can chew. So what I would recommend, what I would not recommend is chasing too many opportunities. What I would recommend is biting off more than you could chew in one opportunity. Like, get yourself to where you're overwhelmed with one opportunity and it's so massive that you pour everything into it. I think you're going to be much better off doing that and a much better opportunity of making it work than you will the other. And I'll tell you this because what I found is that, like, more often than not in my life, when I look back and I look at Grant and I look at, what he's done to get where he's at today, like, it didn't happen because he was trying a lot of stuff. It happened because he tried one thing, had a big target for it, and then continued to pour into it. Because I think it probably takes about a year of doing something before you really start seeing the rewards. Like, the balance of time and energy and effort is way out of whack the first 6 months, and most people quit. That's why if you have too many opportunities, you're never going to get to the point where you pour in enough energy, effort, creativity, commitment, activity. Like, you'll never put enough into that to get past the point where you're actually going to see the rewards. And that's why it's like you're opening up a lot of doors, but you're not going through any of them. So be really, really focused this year on looking for opportunities, but look for 1 or 2 or 3 that like have the potential to be a game changer for you. And go all in on it. Like, you have to go all in on it. If you're playing with something from a distance, if you're tiptoeing in it, all you're doing is you're lengthening the amount of time it's going to take you to reach that tipping point where you actually start seeing success. So the longer it takes you to get there, the higher the likelihood is that you bail out on it. Okay? So be focused on opportunity. Be looking for it. And then number 5, find ways to take way more action than what you're doing right now. And I know, like, at first glance, you see that and you'd probably be like, I could see somebody go, oh yeah, well, just do more. Work harder. That sounds, like a terrible piece of advice that I could have figured out on my own. But really what I think massive action to me is eliminating time. Like, eliminating time to do things. Because I think that a lot of people, if they sat down and thought about the things that they want to do, like, you've already got your goals, you've gotten your targets, like, now you're a little bit excited about this, right? Like, I think if you focused first on speed, and Grant talks about in his monetization cycle, he talks about the speed you go from idea to monetization will determine your success and how big you get. Not how long you work, not how hard you work, but the speed that you move from idea to monetization will determine your success. And to me, I think that's what massive action is. I think that's what a lot of people are missing in massive action. They work hard, but they delay the time it takes for them to do things. They get caught in too much planning, which planning is good. You need to do it, but people invest too much time there. They invest too much time in website and design, and they invest too much time in getting something to 95 or 100%. When 65 or 70% will do just fine. This goes back to the concept of the best known product doesn't beat the best product. The person who got the product to the marketplace and was the loudest is the one that wins, not the best product. There's plenty of products that are superior and great that never go anywhere. It's because nobody knows about them, and they spend so much time on the product, they should be spending time promoting. And that's why Grant's like, when I have an idea to do something, that first thing I immediately do is I move into promotion of that idea. Like, in most cases, when Grant has an idea to do something, he calls me up and goes, hey, I got an idea, I want to do this, I want to create this product, this event, do this thing, whatever. And I want to use grantcardone.com / next thing. Literally, I get off the phone, I get it with the team, I say, get the most basic landing page you can possibly get up in the next 15 minutes, 18 minutes. That's grantcardone.com / next thing. We need to collect email addresses and tell people that the next thing is here. It's going to be big, it's going to be remarkable, and we're going to be doing something amazing for the people who sign up for it first. Hit the link below. And then we get that up. And then what happens is then we get together, and as Grant can start promoting now immediately, now we start having little meetings, little huddles on, okay, what's going to be the hook? What's going to be the deliverable? What's going to be the offer? Where are we going to take people from this? How does this support other things that we're doing? What's going to be the design concept? Like, then we start figuring out all that stuff. But the first thing that we do is we move to monetization or conversion. So did we make money right off the bat? No, but we were converting people. We were exchanging. We were getting their information. So I would love it if you would focus this year on being a maniac with massive action immediately. Take action immediately. Eliminate time. Maybe you don't have to work an extra hour and a half a day. Maybe you actually just need to move faster on the things that you have in your head that you need to do in order to hit your goals. Think about that. You know, like, think about the fact that you have stuff in your head right now that you're like, oh yeah, I want to do. But dude, you've been wanting to do that stuff for 2 or 3 years and you hadn't done anything yet. Like, you just have to initiate. And what happens is momentum. When you start moving in the direction of something that gets you excited, guess what? Man, everything starts changing. Like I've, over the last couple weeks here, like, I've had a lot of thought on future and like investing and like opportunities and things that are coming across my plate that I'm just like so excited about. Like literally, the future is being pulled forward to me, and I'm getting the opportunity to get further and further along to where I want to be faster than I thought I was going to get there. It's extremely exciting. So much so that, like, I literally am sitting in bed, staring at the ceiling, working numbers out through my head. Like, okay, if we got to go here, we got to do this, we can create this, we got to do this, and then we back in, and then we're going to need this many people. Like I start going maniac mode because it's exciting, because I'm having progress towards the thing that I want. So I would encourage you this year to focus on taking action towards the things that you write down in your goals. If all you did on this entire list was set a goal, and then today you did something to get you closer to that goal, then what's going to happen today is you're going to feel more accomplished today than you did yesterday. And then when you have the discipline to show up and do the same thing again tomorrow, have your goal. Remind yourself of your goal. I don't have it on this notebook, but like, these are all the business things. I literally wrote this out this morning. These are all the things for the business that I want to focus on in 2022. I have another notepad that has my personal goals that I wrote everything down on. Like, I write this stuff down because it's exciting to me. It's exciting to think about how we did $105 million last year, or $110 million last year, and we want to go to $200 million this year. And how are we going to do it? Now I'm like figuring out, like, I'm like getting all geeked out on where is it going to come from? What do we have to build? Like, I get all excited about it. And I remind myself of it every single day, because us getting to $200 million this year gets me closer to the thing that I want 10 to 15 years from now. So I know exactly why I'm showing up. I'm excited about why I showed up. Even when I don't want to show up, I show up because I'm so excited about the thing in the future. And part of that meant taking more massive action. So I said that I got to start getting my day started earlier. So literally the beginning of the year, I started waking up at 5 o'clock and getting my workout done from 5:30 to 6:30 rather than waking up at 7 and working out from 7 to 8. So you want to add something new, you have to make a space for it. Okay? It's the time of year where people are trying to add a bunch of stuff. You have to give stuff up to make room for the things you want to add. And so what are those things going to be? Because if you can get good at giving stuff up to get the thing that you really want, if you could be focused on the long term and not today, then you will have a record year. You will have a remarkable year. You will have your best year ever. You will feel so amazing and accomplished about your year that you're going to want to go out and do it again even better the next year. And then the next year. And then the next year. Every year for the last 11 years that I've been with Grant, I've had a better year. And some years, much better. Like the increases that I'm getting in my income for the last 7 or 8 years are more money than I used to make in a year. Because we keep growing and we keep getting better and we keep trying new things, and we continue to focus on the big thing that we want to do. Like, we're going to do some things this year that are going to freak a lot of people out. Like, they're going to be like, dude, what is Cardone doing? You know, we've got amazing partners with Jared in the incubator, Jared Yellen in the incubator, and we've co-founded 125 companies in like 8 months. And now these companies, these MVPs, these products, these tech products are starting to move through the development cycle, and they're coming to market, and they're getting ready to launch. We just acquired 10X Health System, and so now we have this massive health play that is literally going to change the way that people live their day-to-day life. Like, we're going to flip the medical space on its head. Forget about treating things. We're going to prevent them. And we're going to make it available for everybody, and we're going to make it affordable for everybody, so you won't even need insurance because it's affordable. The reason you need insurance is because when you go to the hospital to look at an earache, they charge you $9,000 fucking dollars. Like imagine if there was a way to prevent all that stuff from happening. Everything that Brandon's doing with Cardone Ventures is just remarkable. What they've done in 2.5 years in that company, it's just been unreal. And Natalie, Josh, Buck, Dwayne, Heather, Jeff, like the whole team there, man, these guys are rocking. And it's going to continue to grow. They got 30,000 square feet in Scottsdale. Like, this is an exciting place to be. If you are aware enough to have your eyes open and look around at what's happening in the Cardone world, like, it is so exciting. And then all you have to do is, I'm talking to people that work here right now. You just got to keep your eye out for the opportunity. Where is the opportunity for me to come in and do more? And for you guys outside of here, like, dude, what can you do to get in an environment where, like, everywhere you look, big things are happening? The people that are here that understand what's happening here understand that we're doing something remarkable here. They're like, man, I've never worked in a place like this before. You guys are a little weird. You scream a lot. You yell a lot. You do these meetings in the morning. It's a little weird. Everybody got to stand in the thing, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's 10X everywhere. Like, but man, you guys do a lot. And everybody, for the most part, everybody seems like they really love what they do here, and you're helping people, and it seems like the customers are really happy, and like it's a different place, and it's exciting because, like, literally, and for you on the outside looking in, I hope you guys can see that we are literally setting targets and taking them down, and we're winning. And that is exciting. It's exciting to participate in, and for you, it should be exciting to see. So welcome more people around you that are winning. It will inspire you to go out and win more in your own life. Get around people that are, like, if you have losers around you, get rid of them. If you got to be the only person in the crew for a while, be a one-man crew. Learn to talk to yourself. Play games with yourself. Tell jokes to yourself. There probably ain't, I mean, if anybody's going to laugh at your jokes, it's going to be you. But man, it's just, it's amazing to be a part of something that is working like the thing that we have right now. And 11 years ago, you could have never convinced me that we would be where we are right now. Just getting started, I couldn't even think with it. But everything changed for me that first year. I developed new habits, started thinking differently, I started getting goal focused, I started getting my personal network dialed in. And literally, I was in debt when I started working for Grant, 40 grand in debt when I started working for him at 26 years old. By the time I was 30, I was a millionaire. It didn't change over 4 years. It changed because of what I did that first year. And then I kept doing that over and over and over again. Now, 11 years later, looking back, I'm like, dude, I'm investing in real estate. We got the company over here, all these partners and other businesses. Like, we're going to freaking put a dent in the world. And so it all started with the decision that was made in the beginning. So I encourage you guys to go out and make that decision today if you haven't yet. It's only 6 days into the year so far. If you blew it the first 6 days, it ain't too late. If you're watching this and it's November 6th, it ain't too late. The best time to start is now. Whether that's the first of the year, in July, in December, doesn't matter. Now, start. Because you will be floored at how your life can change if you can focus for 1 year. And that will create the momentum you need to go everywhere you want to go in life. And keep good people around you so they keep pushing you and they keep supporting you and they keep acknowledging your wins and your successes. And do the same to other people. Acknowledge wins and successes. And man, you can create an environment around you that's exciting to be in for everybody because everybody's winning. Most exciting thing for me, most rewarding thing for me is being with my friends and we're all winning. And so I encourage you guys, go out, get your year started right, get focused on these 5 things. I promise you, do it for 7 days. Forget 365 days. Do it for 7 days. You'll feel different. And that will propel you into your best year ever. Really quick, we have a boot camp coming up January 20th. 21st and 22nd. If you go to grantcardone.com/bootcamp, you can reserve your seat. There ain't no better way to start the year off than coming into a room of 1,000 people who all own businesses, who are all trying to do major, massive things. You want to get the people thing right? Get in a room of people who paid to educate themselves with the skills that they need to go out and grow their business and have their best year yet. This is where you need to be, folks. GrantCardone.com/bootcamp. We have an insane deal. The tickets are normally $3,500. You can get them now for $349. It's an insane deal, $397. Insane deal that we're doing because we want to have a big live boot camp at the beginning of the year to kick the year off right. And then we want to track you throughout the year and make sure that you are heading down the track, the path, to get everything that you want out of 2022. And we want to go along for the ride with you. So take advantage of that, grantcardone.com/bootcamp. We will see you back right here next Thursday, noon East Coast Standard Time on Young Hustlers. Oh yeah, and remember, the only people who condemn the hustle are the ones who've already given up on the hustle themselves. See you next time.